Welcome everyone to our end of the year celebration. I'm Kevin Jackson, Negotiations Business Partner at Target and People Serving People Board Member, and I'll be your host this morning. I am excited to be a part of People Serving People because I wanted to connect my professional passion with community, putting negotiations with a community approach. We are so excited that you have decided to be here with us this morning to learn about People Serving People's educational services. We could not be here without our generous sponsors, Welsh Forsman Associates, Delta Dental of Minnesota, and even our advocates, and all of you who are joining us, maybe over a cup of coffee, as you start your day at home, in your classroom, or at the office. As we close out a uniquely challenging school year, we want to acknowledge the ways in which our students and our teachers have not just met the challenges, but have also thrived. This morning, please join us in celebrating the resilience of our students, teachers, and families. We invite you to listen to the stories behind their successes and learn how community support bolsters educational successes, now and for future generations. Today, our goal is to raise $20,000 for educational services at People Serving People and the Center of Excellence. Contributions from the community members like you support educational programming that strengthens resilience, students, and helps families thrive. You can make your donations at the URL on the screen. Throughout today's program, we encourage you to participate in the chat at the URL listed on the screen. Feel free to share with other attendees why you are here and what makes People Serving People special to you. While you're putting your answer in the chat, I'd like to introduce People Serving People CEO, Ronald Ray.
Thank you, Kevin, and good morning, everyone. Many of you joining us this morning are already familiar with our organization, whether that's through volunteering, working here, giving donations, or attending events. If you're new and just hearing about us, thank you for spending your morning with us. People Serving People is the largest and most comprehensive emergency shelter for families and children experiencing homelessness in Minnesota. We support families experiencing homelessness and work to prevent the experience of homelessness through both program and policy. In addition to emergency shelter and meals, we offer supportive services that include family advocacy and education, both on-site here at the shelter and in the community at our Center of Excellence. Education is an important part of what we do. In our educational spaces, children learn in a safe and nurturing environment. This paves the way for greater family and housing stability. This morning, you'll learn more about how People Serving People's educational services help children focus on stability and thrive. This school year brought unexpected challenges into the lives of families all over the world. Each of us here this morning has adapted in ways we'd never before imagined. For the children and families staying in shelter with us at People Serving People, the challenges of housing instability were compounded by the stresses of a global pandemic. In the midst of all this, the trauma associated with the murder of George Floyd, the subsequent trial, and the killing of Dante Wright radiated through the collective community, significantly impacting children and families. Throughout all of this, our community has given their time and resources to support People Serving People families. We kicked off the school year with a back-to-school breakfast that raised funds to support our educational programming. Your contributions helped to provide distance learning support, afternoon enrichment activities for school-aged kids, and allowed our early learning programs to continue to operate at the shelter and the Center of Excellence. We could not have made it through this school year without the collective support of our community. So thank you for your continued support and for your commitment to helping children thrive. Now let's hear more about resilience from our Director of Education, Blake Ward.
Thank you, Renal. I'm thrilled to be here this morning with you all to celebrate our students and teachers. At the shelter and our community at the Center of Excellence, our educational programs focus on creating resilience and fostering protective factors which drastically reduce impacts of adversity on children. Science has shown that reducing the effects of adversity in children's experiences is essential for healthy development and lifelong success. People Serving People acknowledges these findings and offers programs designed to build that resilience. We offer protective measures against adversity by creating safe and consistent learning environments, full of possibilities. Our learning spaces are set up to inspire children's curiosity, wonder, and joy, and to support children in making connections with each other and the world around them. In our education programs, we focus on listening and building strong relationships and put children and families at the center of everything we do. We spend time listening, observing, and learning who the children are and what's important to their families. We do all this because having meaningful social connections strengthens children's resilience and helps them thrive.
Shake your ex together. Shake your ex. I'm gonna shake.
Being an educator over this last year has really redefined what it means to be flexible. The ability to keep our doors open for the kids during the pandemic, when we were open for essential staff, just to keep these kids consistently in their learning. One thing I've learned over this last year is that learning doesn't stop, and it can't stop. It can look different, it can be presented in different ways, but learning cannot stop. It's too important for the kids to be able to still learn and get new information and continue their education.
One of the things that was a little bit challenging in this time was children asking if they are safe. And one of the things that we really try to emphasize is the importance of we have each other, we are to keep each other safe, and we have our support system around us, whether it's their moms, their dads, their teachers, people from their church. We're all working together with that one goal, and that's to keep them safe and to help them to be able to grab hold of some type of stability even in the hard times that we're in.
We recently got, obviously, the verdict from the trial, and that day we decided to close the classrooms just a little bit early so our teachers and families could be with each other when they got those verdicts and be at home and be safe. But we had a couple kids left at the end of the day, parents working on getting here. So I was with kind of the last two kids of the day, spending some time with them, and I could tell there's this older boy who's 4, and I could tell he knew that something was going on, but wasn't quite, talking about it, ready to think about it, anything like that. But he did take that time and decide that he wanted to dress up as Batman. So he got really excited and wanted to dress up as Batman and was so excited to show his mom. So I think even when he could tell something different was going on, the day was changing, he still kind of found strength in deciding to be Batman, dress up as Batman, show his mom that he's this proud, strong boy and has this Batman costume on, and he was really excited about it.
Yeah, I think of one family that we had in program. We had them in distant learning support for a while, and then they were in program. We would be with them all day long, essentially. And it was a set of twins and their older brother. And the twins, when they came to us, weren't attending class at all. We talked to Margot about it. She was like, the teachers are saying that they're just not coming, they're not showing up, not getting on their laptops or anything. So when they started coming to us, we tried to encourage them to get into class and things like that. And finally, we figured out what their schedule was so we could encourage them to get into their classes, and they were with us long enough to where they were in a schedule and in a pattern and knew when they needed to be in their classes. And because they started attending their classes more, they understood the concepts that were happening. Because when they were attending the classes so sporadically, they had no clue what was going on. So once they started attending regularly, they knew what was happening in class. They could actually start catching up on their missing assignments. So that was a big win for us to see them start actually enjoying school too.
That's a great example that Megan was offering of being able to bridge some of those connections to the school teachers and the classrooms. And I think that was definitely a success this year, even though kids started off the school year doing distance learning, and we knew right off the bat that we were going to need to set up something to support that distance learning to help parents out, because it's such a hard job to be a parent and work and also become your child's teacher. And so we wanted to set up a space and support systems for the kids that wanted to have that space and do distance learning in a room with our teachers.
Well, one of the examples I would use with one of our newer families is how she expressed to me how grateful she was that her son was still able to be able to learn to write his name and stay focused and go to the next level. And she said, I know it was the hard work of the teachers because my son wouldn't have been able to do that. He wasn't even writing before he came here. And she was just so very grateful that her son had made some improvement, and she just was saying how thankful she was to all the staff here, and we are grateful to even have that relationship with, especially a new family.
We've been intentional about making sure our spaces create wonder and joy and curiosity. And so we did some updating of our rec room on our second floor, which is a space our kids can be in day to day. And we made some changes that are a bit more nature-based, kind of more friendly colors. So like it's different pieces of wood, balance beams, and it's just been nice to see the kids create their own play space with those things, move them as they see fit, and the teachers said it really has led to really imaginative play.
I think that trauma-informed care this year was more important than anything, because not only is it hard to be living through a pandemic, but to be like with every other event that went on this year, just that trauma is brought up again. And writing, I feel like it's really in your face this year. It was one thing after another, so I think it was really important for us to be trauma-informed when handling any situations with our families or even the kids.
I found hope in the hearts of our teachers and how much that they cared for the families and the kids when so many of the things in our world were less loving and quite frankly the opposite of that. I saw more love come out of these teachers for these kids and families than I ever thought was possible.
We did see a lot of resiliency among our teachers and our staff as well, having to pull together and figure out a plan for how to support distance learning. And you know, we didn't have a program like that before, so we had to figure it out from the ground up. So I really want to, I hope that we will continue to see growth in our focus on children, focus on education, focus on supporting families throughout the next several years, because you know that funding is just vital to be able to have high quality education, high quality experiences and care for all children.
The kids this year showed how much more resilient they can be than many of us, including myself and my staff in a lot of ways.
At People Serving People, we depend on community support. People like you who want to end the cycle of homelessness donate their time or financial resources. At the onset of the pandemic, we quickly restructured our operations and programs to keep our families safe from the coronavirus. And people like you stepped in with financial gifts to cover the cost. We hired and shifted after-school program staff to support distance learning. Community support has carried us through the challenges of the last year, and we know it will carry us through the changes we still have ahead of us. As students return to in-person schooling, families' needs shifted once again, and our education staff modified program offerings to meet those needs. Our K-12 program has resumed in-person after-school activities to help provide consistency to families as they again adjust their routines. Our educational services programming is dynamic and designed to help grow the resilience of our youth to meet and overcome the challenges of the pandemic, housing instability, racism, and well, just being a young person. Our staff and programs continue to support families through uncertainty and provide a safe place for children to grow, learn, and thrive.
Our goal today is to raise $20,000 for educational services that nurture strength, confidence, and resilience in the children of the future. Your support will allow us to keep students thriving throughout the summer and throughout the next school year. Every dollar raised will be used to make sure children have the tools they need to become our community's next leaders. We'd like to acknowledge and thank a few community members who have already contributed.
Thank you to Stephanie Tiger Barnes and Matthew Barnes for your donation. You are helping young learners attend our Center of Excellence preschool. We also want to thank you, Maura Howard, Karen Kepler, and Luke Durheim, for helping school-age kids attend after-school programming that creates safety and consistency. And thank you to Patricia Martin for helping us create learning environments full of opportunities. Your contribution will help us fill our classrooms with enrichment activities.
This morning, please join us to invest in our shared future, where all children have the support they need to thrive. You can make your contribution today to make a positive impact in the greater community. Together, we can break the cycle of homelessness by investing in the education of our children.
Community support is vital to the success of our students. Before we wrap up this morning, we want to recognize a special member of our community who has made a difference in the lives of countless students and families. Margot Hurl, shelter coordinator at Minneapolis Public Schools, has dedicated 3 decades to helping students experiencing homelessness. Margot assists families with everything from helping parents get their kids registered, to making sure they are equipped with school supplies, to making sure that hundreds of children get transportation to and from school each day. Margot will be retiring this year, so we asked a few of our community members to tell us what Margot's support has meant to families and people serving people.
My name is Margot, and I work with Minneapolis Schools out of all the shelters, but my office for 28 years has been based out of People Serving People shelter.
So Margot is a force of nature. Nowhere have I seen someone coordinate motor pools and coordinate technology and literally meet people where they are at. Margot makes you feel seen and heard, and that no matter what is going on in your day, that this interaction is going to be full of love and full of grace, and she's going to get something done about the thing that we need. You can't touch that.
She has a generous smile. She's always smiling. She's always in a good mood. And the care that she expresses and shows towards the families is just tremendous. I have watched her in close contact with our guests, and when she's talking to them, they have her undivided attention. It's like they're the only person in the world at that moment who matters to her, and that makes the families and the kids feel just absolutely great. I've never seen any family come out of her office not smiling or laughing or having a good time.
I think the work that she does has a great impact on our families, not only the children but their parents. Margot has always shown a care for not only the kids, but she's been there for the parents. I've seen her come in on the weekends when she's off to help a family move. I've seen her drop stuff off to families outside of her regular routine. Margot's just a wonderful, dedicated person.
It's been great to get to know Margot over the years and work with her. She is so bright and friendly that even though our interactions are maybe once a month, it's just like we talk, like we've always known each other, we're friendly, and it's just also good to see her interact like that with the families, be really intentional about connecting with those families and relating to those families and meeting their needs wherever they are at.
I always tell everyone I think I have the best job in the world because I get to meet these young kids and then I get to watch them grow and watch them do amazing things and come out of this. And homelessness is just but a short period of time in their long lives. And when they come back and visit, I've had people come back and visit. One woman got her master's as a teacher in the Minneapolis School District now. We've had many, many success stories.
I don't think there's anybody that does what Margot does that does it with such grace, class, and caring.
She's always got jokes. Like, she's just got this great sense of like herself, but also like in the midst of chaos, she makes you want to laugh and just brings such a sense of joy and love to this work. We love her.
Thank you again to our sponsors, Welsh Forsman Associates, Delta Dental of Minnesota, as well as our event advocates for supporting people serving people in today's end of school year celebration. A huge thank you to each and every one of you for being a part of the community that supports the children living and thriving at People Serving People and the Center of Excellence Preschool. If you haven't yet, you can make your donations at the URL you see on the screen. Thank you for joining us this morning to celebrate our students and teachers and bolster programming for next year's class. The program you just watched will be available for viewing later today. Help us reach more people by sharing with your network and help even more children thrive. Thank you for coming.